On last week's episode of the show, my special guest Peter Vines said that hustle beats talent when talent won't hustle. Now, if you've been listening to this show for any period of time, you will know that I am not the hustle guy. Now, I'm not lazy, I just would prefer to work smarter than work harder. The question I think for you is, are you someone who has a little bit more hustle than other people, or are you someone who has a little bit more talent than other people? And how can you harness your natural advantage in order to win at this competitive game of commercial real estate? And if you are a commercial real estate leader, well, there is the benefit of pursuing people who have experience and expertise, but there's also an argument for going after people who have the right attitude and also the right attributes. So today's episode is going to explore the hustle versus talent argument. Hello and welcome to episode 136 of CRE Success, the podcast. My name's Darren Krukabiak and I help commercial real estate leaders to develop their people and to grow their business. And our episode today is all about hustle versus talent, and does hustle really beat talent when talent won't hustle? And I guess if you're talented and you're not willing to do anything, then probably someone who is willing to do something is likely to do better than you. And I think that hustle and talent are both important in commercial real estate. But what I'd like to explore today is how we can all work towards more success through working smarter. Now, with that being said, I do want to just go through some of the benefits of both hustle and the benefits of having great talent. So when it comes to hustle, and I sort of put hustle in the same category as your attitude or the attributes that you have, having a great network and taking the time to build a great network is a great way to hustle. And in our episode last week, we heard from Peter Vines talking about the steps that he's taken to grow his personal brand. I think that if you're willing to add people on LinkedIn and then get them into your network and then spend a little bit of time to create content which then keeps you top of mind, that is a hustle activity which is going to go a long way, because a professional network in commercial real estate really matters. It is one of these industries where the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know, is probably more true than untrue. The next thing that I think is important is just persistence and having resilience. So what's sometimes talked about as grit, and really the importance of a positive attitude, which is more of the hustle side of things than the talent side of things. So when you're willing to go a little bit further, when you're willing to overcome obstacles, when you're willing to, I guess, prospect more than other people because you're not deterred by one email that isn't responded to, or the fact that somebody doesn't return your phone calls, then you're going to be able to go much further than if you weren't willing to do that. And that's certainly a way that hustle is more important than talent. And the third way I think that hustle is more important than talent is in terms of being proactive and also having a little bit of adaptability. And commercial real estate is in some ways a traditional industry, but it's starting to change. And the ways that we can be successful is becoming more based on technological advancements and the way we go about things. So hustle can be about innovation. It can be about staying ahead of the curve. And I think that's a little bit of where working smarter comes into it, because some people who rely on their talents, who believe that I've always been the best, I'm naturally good at this, I don't need to try new and better ways of doing things, they can get outdone by the hustle. Because if you're willing to continually look for and find better ways to do things, then that will put you on a pathway towards being able to beat the talent. Of course, talent is important, right? So I do want to just explore a few of the ways that, particularly if you're a commercial real estate owner or a leader and you're looking for people to hire, that we shouldn't overlook the natural abilities that people have. And I think as a leader, it is somewhat incumbent on you to harness the talents of your people to get the best out of them, or at least to encourage them to be the best that they can be. And one thing that is important in our industry is just knowledge of the marketplace, knowledge of the sectors in which we work, and experience and in-depth knowledge of whether it's the industry or the sector or the location or the client type is something that is really valued versus somebody who's never worked in the industry before. So this can take some time to build up, and I guess if you're willing to hustle at it, you can build up some knowledge, but it's going to take time. So I remember when I worked in Korea, one of the ways that I got to know the market better was literally just by walking up and down the main business districts in Seoul and going into every building and having a look at the tenant boards and having a look around the building and just making sure that I had actually not just desktop knowledge of the market, but that I had real knowledge of the market, because for me, seeing helped me remember the buildings and it gave me real knowledge. So I think that is an area where actually talent, the experience, the knowledge that you already have is something that can outbeat hustle, because it's even the best hustler is going to take 3 to 6 months to get to know a market. Another way where talent beats hustle, in my opinion, is in terms of people who are naturally good at negotiations and also at sales. And you cannot buy the experience of somebody who's got 100 deals under their belt. Somebody who has prospected 1,000 potential vendors. And that accumulated knowledge, which I guess somehow they have accumulated because they've been willing to work, is something which is, in my opinion, probably superior than somebody who's just willing to work really, really hard. Now, again, that person who has that accumulated knowledge can't just do nothing with it. They need to deploy it. But in our industry, where first of all, you have to convince the prospect to give you the listing. So there's some negotiation and sales skills involved in that. But then also, once you've got the listing, you then need to deploy once again your sales and negotiation skills to get the listing sold or leased. These skills and experience are really, really important in our industry. So talent, I think, is really, really important when it comes to sales and also negotiation. And the third way that I think talent perhaps is more important than hustle is just the ability to, whether it's analyze numbers or just to solve problems. And reflecting on my own experience, one area where I had a natural ability was I'm pretty good with numbers. I can calculate numbers in my head pretty quickly. And that would mean that when someone would tell me, the amount of space and the building, I'd be able to sort of calculate whether it was the monthly rent or what the fee to the business would be. And that was something that was, I guess, a skill that I had that showed industry knowledge, experience, know-how, capability. But the thing I want to say here is that your natural skill doesn't need to be something which is industry specific or necessarily intellectually smart. There are many ways that you can demonstrate know-how. There are many talents that you may have that you can deploy in commercial real estate. So the talent that you're willing to deploy is going to reflect your value that you convey in the marketplace with your colleagues when you're going for a job, when you are demonstrating your capability to your team if you're a leader, and of course, when you're dealing with your clients and also with your prospects. So that's a little bit about talent and also hustle. I think the key to success is working smarter. So I just wanted to give you a couple of ways that you can do that, whether you are more of a hustler or whether you are more talented. And the first way is, of course, leveraging technology and tools. And we talk a little bit about that on this podcast. And I think if we're willing to work smarter by looking at technology and digital tools to to streamline tasks and improve our productivity. That's always going to set us apart from people who are naturally talented or from those who just work more hours, because we're finding ways to get more done in less time. And I recently did an episode on ChatGPT. I'm getting deeper and deeper into this tool, and I plan on sharing more of that knowledge that I've accumulated soon. I think when I did that episode, I was probably pretty green at it. I just wanted to get something out there about it. So I guess that's the hustle in me, is willing to just put something out because I knew it was a topic that was important. But as I become more talented at it, I think I'm going to have more of meaning to share with you. But it is, of course, the willingness to go out there and learn and to adopt it, which is the important part. Being willing to also manage your time and prioritize tasks is really, really important. We've talked a lot about that on this show, and it's very much a learned skill, and it does require you to, I guess, let go of a little bit of arrogance and understand that you're not always the best person to get everything done. There are times when things should be automated. There are times when you should look to outsource things. We should always be looking for opportunities, if we're working within a team, to delegate tasks to the person who is best placed to perform that task, or who it's dollar productive for to do that tasks. And I guess the third thing that I would say in terms of working smarter is, and again, in our episode last week, Peter Vines really talked about this, was adding value for clients. And I think the way that we can really set ourselves apart is not through the amount of hours that we're willing to work, or by how smart or talented that we think we are, or how others see us to be. It's really about the amount of value that we can add to our clients. And if we come at things from that perspective, then I think that we're ultimately going to be growing as commercial real estate professionals, because, as I said, it's not about how many hours you work. We're compensated based on the amount of value we produce. It's not about how smart you are or how well you know a certain marketplace. It's how that knowledge you have can help your clients make better decisions, which either protects their value or adds value to the assets that they own. I've covered a lot of different areas today, which we cover within our program for commercial real estate agents, which is called Top Performer. It's a fantastic program if you're a commercial real estate leader and you're looking for some skills to upskill your team, or if you're an individual who wants to improve their own capability as a commercial real estate agent. We run through personal excellence, which is a little bit about mindset and the way to approach things. We go purposeful prospecting. We look at ways to build your brand, ways to win, your efficiency and effectiveness, and also client accumulation. If you'd like to improve in these areas, to not just be about hustle, to not just be about your natural capability, but to really be a person who's willing to learn and grow so that you can work smarter and add more value to your clients, we've still got a special offer on, where if you put $100 into the subject line of an email, and you email us hello@cresuccess.co, we'll give you all the information that you need to sign up to that program. It includes monthly training and coaching. It includes access to a back catalogue of resources that we've created over the past 3 years of CRE Success being a business. And it also includes the 6 modules that I've just mentioned, which make up that program, Top Performer. So put $100 in the subject line and email hello@cresuccess.co if you would like more information. That is our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you soon.